What would you do if someone tried to control your only way home, not knowing you held the key to their own escape? In the quiet hills of Willow Creek, where the air smells of pine and the river hums a gentle lullaby, a storm was brewing, not in the sky, but in the heart of a woman named Karen Whitaker. Her signs, bold and garish, littered the narrow dirt road to my cabin, each one a declaration of her newfound power as head of the Homeowners Association. But Karen didn't know the truth about the land she stood on, and that truth would unravel everything she thought she controlled. I'm Elias Carter, a man who traded city lights for the solitude of a cabin nestled deep in the forest. The road to my home is a winding, single-lane path, barely wide enough for my truck, flanked by towering cedars and the occasional deer. It's private land, owned by my family for generations, and it's the only route to a cluster of cabins, including mine. The bridge, a sturdy wooden structure spanning the rushing Willow Creek, is the sole crossing for miles. My great-grandfather built it, and the deed still bears my name. Karen, however, didn't care about history. She cared about rules. It started innocently enough. A few months ago, Karen moved into a cabin a mile down the road. She was a city transplant, all sharp edges and louder opinions, with a penchant for organizing things that didn't need organizing. She revived the long-dormant HOA, a relic from when the cabins were a summer retreat for wealthy families. Most of us ignored it, live and let live, you know? But Karen had other plans. She wanted order, control, and, apparently, my road. The first sign appeared on a Tuesday, nailed to a tree: HOA property. No unauthorized vehicles. I chuckled, thinking it was a mistake. I called Karen, politely explaining that the road was mine, not the HOA's. Her voice, crisp and unyielding, cut through the phone. Elias, this community needs structure. You'll thank me later. By Friday, more signs sprouted like weeds. HOA enforced. No parking. HOA zone. Speed limit 10 miles per hour. They were everywhere, cluttering the path, screaming her authority. My patience thinned, but I held my tongue. I'm not one for conflict, not yet. Then came the blockade. Saturday morning, I woke to find my road impassable. Karen had parked her gleaming SUV across the lane, flanked by a barricade of orange cones and a handwritten sign: HOA inspection. Road closed. My blood boiled. I had a delivery coming, groceries, supplies for the winter, and now I was trapped. I marched to her cabin, fists clenched, ready to reason. She stood on her porch, arms crossed, her blonde hair pulled tight in a bun that matched her demeanor. Karen, this is my road. You can't block it, I said, keeping my voice steady. She smirked, waving a clipboard. The HOA has jurisdiction over community access, Elias. We're ensuring safety. Your truck's too big for these roads anyway. It's my land, I repeated, slower this time. The deed's in my name. She laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound. Deeds don't trump community rules. You'll get access once we approve your compliance. Compliance? I was a hermit, not a rebel. But Karen saw me as a threat to her perfect little kingdom. I returned home, fuming, and called my lawyer, Sarah Gwynn. She'd handled my family's estate for years, a no-nonsense woman with a knack for cutting through red tape. Elias, she said, her voice calm but firm, you own the road and the bridge. Karen's got no legal ground. But let's play this smart. Sarah suggested a public meeting, a chance to show the other cabin owners Karen's overreach. I agreed, though my gut told me Karen wouldn't back down easily. The meeting was set for Sunday at the community hall, a rickety building by the creek. I expected a few neighbors, maybe some grumbling about Karen's signs. What I didn't expect was Lila Monroe. Lila was a mystery, a quiet woman who'd moved into a cabin last spring. She kept to herself, her gray eyes always scanning, like she was hiding from something or someone. She showed up to the meeting in a faded denim jacket, her hair loose and wild, and sat in the back, saying nothing. I noticed her because she didn't fit too young for the retiree crowd, too guarded for the usual neighborly chatter. Karen took the floor, her voice dripping with authority. This community needs rules to thrive, she declared. gesturing to a PowerPoint of her HOA plans. Fines for unapproved paint colors, restrictions on firewood stacks, even a ban on unsightly vehicles like my truck. The crowd murmured, some nodding, others shifting uncomfortably. I stood holding up my deed. This road, I said, is mine. The bridge, too. Karen's signs are trespassing. The room went quiet. Karen's face reddened. That's absurd, she snapped. The HOA represents the community's interests. Then why didn't you ask us? Piped up old Mr. Hensley, a grizzled fisherman who rarely spoke. Others chimed in, their frustration bubbling over. Karen's control was slipping, and she knew it. But then Lila stood, her voice soft but cutting. Karen, you're new here. You don't know how things work. She paused, her eyes locking on Karen's. Or what people are capable of. The room froze. Lila's words carried a weight I couldn't place, like a warning wrapped in a whisper. Karen faltered, then recovered, dismissing Lila with a wave. This meeting is adjourned, she said, storming out. I caught Lila's eye as she left, but she looked away, disappearing into the dusk. That night, I found a note slipped under my door. Check the bridge. Lila. My stomach churned. I grabbed a flashlight and hiked to the bridge, the creek roaring below. There, nailed to the railing, was a new sign, HOA property. No crossing without permit. Karen had gone too far. But as I scanned the bridge, I noticed something else, fresh scratches on the supports, like someone had been tampering with the bolts. My bridge. My family's legacy. Rage surged, but so did a plan. The next morning, I called Sarah again. Close the bridge, she advised. It's your property. Let Karen feel the consequences. I hesitated. Closing the bridge would trap everyone, not just Karen, Mr. Hensley, Lila, the others. But Karen had left me no choice. I hauled out a chain and padlock, securing the bridge's gate. Then I posted my own sign, private property. Bridge closed until HOA removes illegal signs. By noon, Karen was at my door, furious. You can't do this. People need that bridge, she shouted. Then take down your signs, I said, calm but firm. And stop trespassing. She stormed off, promising legal action. But the cabins were cut off, no bridge, no access. The neighbors grumbled, but most sided with me once I explained the deed. Karen, though, doubled down. She hired a lawyer, a slick city type named Greg, who sent me a cease and desist letter. Sarah laughed it off. They've got nothing, she said. Hold your ground. Days passed, tension rising. Karen's SUV stayed parked on my road, her signs untouched. Then Lila showed up at my cabin, her face pale. Elias, she said, her voice low. Karen's not who you think she is. She hesitated, then spilled her secret. Karen wasn't just a control freak. She was running from a past embezzlement charges in Chicago, a fake name, a new life. Lila knew because she'd been Karen's assistant, back when Karen was Catherine Wells, a corporate shark who'd fled when the law closed in. Lila had followed, hoping to expose her. The twist hit me like a freight train. Karen wasn't just a petty tyrant. She was a fugitive, using the HOA to hide in plain sight. Lila's revelation changed everything. I didn't just want her signs gone, I wanted her gone. But before I could act, disaster struck. Late that night, a storm rolled in, the creek swelling dangerously. I woke to a call from Mr. Hensley. The bridge was shaking, its supports weakened by the tampered bolts. Karen's doing? I couldn't prove it, but I ran to the bridge, rain soaking me to the bone. The structure groaned, the creek raging below. If it collapsed, the cabins would be stranded for weeks. I worked through the night, reinforcing the supports with spare lumber, praying it would hold. By dawn, the bridge stood, but barely. Karen appeared, her face a mask of defiance. You can't keep that bridge closed forever, she sneered. I looked at her, exhausted, soaked, and done. Karen, I know who you are, Catherine Wells. The police might be interested in your new address. Her eyes widened, fear replacing her bravado. She didn't speak, just turned and walked away. The next day, her SUV was gone. The signs vanished. Karen Whitaker Catherine Wells was nowhere to be found. Lila, too, disappeared, her cabin empty, her mission complete. The bridge held, but the cost was heavy. The community rebuilt, but trust was fractured. I'd won, but at what price? My road was clear, my bridge secure, but the bitterness lingered. Karen's control had crumbled, but so had the quiet peace of Willow Creek. Sometimes victory tastes like ash. ND.